My first question for you is pretty simple, and that is, why do you want to serve a second term as Arkansas's governor?
Because I believe in Arkansas and I believe in our future. We've had a great last 3.5 years, accomplished a great deal, but there's so much more to do in terms of competitive income tax rate, growing our economy, improving education, and we've laid such a great foundation. I'm excited about the opportunities for this incredible state and continuing to serve.
Yeah, well, I just think this state has huge untapped potential, and I also think that we're living in extraordinary times. We've got a rapidly changing economy. We need bold new ideas in education and small business development, in healthcare and in poverty reduction.
I'm running for governor because I'm one of the people as well, and it's a lot of things that need to be changed in this state. First of all, the at-will, the overtaxed, as well as being able to have the resources to have work. And it's a problem. So I'm more concerned of the people as well as myself, my children, their grandchildren, making sure that we're in a state that is more concerned of the people and not just the government.
And my next question is, you know, obviously the budget has been a big concern, and you've gotten a lot of criticism from both sides of the aisle about being a financial conservative, but then the budget obviously growing under your administration. What is your response to that criticism, and how will you balance the budget but also the future needs of Arkansas?
Well, I would answer it by asking people to think about it. You know, Texas grew their budget, Tennessee grew their budget under very conservative leadership. And why is that the case? Because you have increased needs and you have a growing state. In Arkansas, we're a growing state, and so, for example, we've given 2 pay increases since I've been governor to teachers.
Governor Hutchinson has been an outspoken proponent of repealing the Affordable Care Act. What are your thoughts on that idea, and do you think that's what's best for Arkansas?
I think that we need to improve it, not repeal it. We have to think about the fact that this program, it's expanded health care to a lot of people who didn't have it. It's prevented people from getting discriminated against if they or someone they love has had pre-existing conditions. These are steps forward. We need to preserve them and figure out how we make progress on the problem. Specifically for me, and what I hear from voters is we need to get health care costs under control.
On your official Facebook page, you recently said, "I'm for all, but when we look at the issues at hand, blacks are the only ones who endure cruel and unusual punishment and pain." What do you mean by that? And with statements like that, do you think that you can get the support of all the people of Arkansas?
What I meant by that statement, as far as how you see us being brutalized in the eye of the police, you can see different type of people being arrested and detained, and it's a different avenue as far as the African Americans. The police automatically is out to kill them, and I think that that is wrong. I'm not justifying whatever crime that they may have committed, but I'm justifying of us being treated as humans. And as far as you do everyone else, we should be treated the same, not as just like we're violent animals that's out to hurt people.
My last question for you is that Arkansas Works and Medicaid are programs that have faced a lot of issues in the last few years, and they're likely going to need help from Washington in the future. Do you have any concern that the majority in Congress could flip and that could put those efforts that you've laid out in jeopardy? And what do you have planned for Arkansas Works and Medicaid?
Well, I would support change in Washington, and if they can repeal the Affordable Care Act, if they can replace it with something that gives the states more flexibility, I'm all for it. And so I'm for change in Washington, but I don't think they're anywhere close to that right now. And so we're getting the flexibility from the Trump administration. President Trump has been very supportive of more flexibility to states. That's why we have the reform in place. We'll be the first state to implement a work requirement for those on Medicaid that are able-bodied and able to work and don't have health impediments or minor children at home. We will continue to reform and look for more flexibility from Washington.
The state was under the national spotlight last year as they expanded gun rights a great deal. Do you agree with the expansion, and how do you propose that the state balance the Second Amendment rights of individuals but also the safety of people in the state?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked that, and that is an important debate right now. And I don't think there should be any big tension between respecting the Second Amendment. You know, like almost every Arkansan, I come from a family of gun owners, a family of hunters. I don't think that we have to sacrifice any of that while also maximizing safety, you know, and I think there's tons of common ground in Arkansas and around the country to make sure that we do more to strengthen background checks, to make sure that people with a history of domestic violence, for example, don't get guns.
You have proposed eradicating some of our imposed taxes. With an inflating DHS budget and a costly opioid epidemic looming, how will you cut taxes and also be able to balance that budget?
And that's what the recreational tax 21 and older come in place. As I researched different states, they were able to produce a large number of revenue off recreational. And I feel that putting that recreational tax in place will allow us to be able to impose some taxes, not all. But if you look at the first draft of the Constitution, it states that no individual should be directly taxationed. And that's what we're doing. I mean, it wasn't always a law for income tax. That actually came in place, what, in 1916? The Supreme Court actually put that in place. So I feel like as the government is steady getting money and their revenue is steady growing, they should be willing to give back to the people to alleviate some of the burden that the people are having.